What's up, guys? So it's time to winterize your motorcycle, and all you can find online are instructions and videos of how to do a practically new fuel-injected motorcycle. Well, you've come to the right place because we are going to prep our 1979 Yamaha XS750 in awesome shape for winter. Now, maybe you're prepping it just for 1 or 2 months, right? Standard winterization. Or maybe you're putting it away for the long haul. We're talking 3 to 5 months. Depending on your climate, it might be cold for that long. With these 5 steps, no matter when you pull it back out of that shed or garage, you can be sure it'll crank right over. Now, you want to be sure you watch until the very last step because arguably it is the most important one. So let's get started with number 1. Step number 1 is to change that oil. The last thing you want to do is leave a few thousand-mile old oil stewing on all your engine parts with the little metallic bits and the higher water content than usual. So drain out your old oil, replace the filter, fill it up, run the engine for 1 or 2 minutes. That's all you need to circulate that fresh oil all over the top end. Let it sit and you'll be good to go. Now, after that oil change, if you plan on storing the bike for more than, let's say, 4 or 5 months, the next thing I recommend doing is adding some fogging oil. What this does is it coats the entire inside of the cylinders, prevents corrosion, and also makes sure that nothing gets stuck. So when you go to start the bike again after 5 months, 6 months, heck, even a year, you know that everything will be able to slide freely and not have any rust on it. Just pop off your spark plug caps, pull out the spark plugs, spray a little fogging oil into each of the cylinders, and then rotate that engine by hand. Make sure that each piston goes on its full stroke a couple of times. You're really coating that whole cylinder with oil. And then replace the spark plugs and you are good to go. Number 2 on our list is to drain those carbs of all the fuel. We do not want gasoline sitting in those float bowls all winter long or even longer than that. Most carbs have drain screws just with a flathead screwdriver. Run a little hose into a little catch bucket and you're good. These have a 10mm bolt on the bottom without any way to attach a hose. So what I like to do is just take some aluminum foil, make a little channel so that you don't get too much gas on the engine and ruin your finish, and then just run that little channel into a catch container. Now, if this is just normal winterization, go ahead and fill that gas tank up, hopefully with some ethanol-free fuel if you have it around where you live. Top it off with some fuel stabilizer and you're good to go. But if you are storing this thing for the long haul, remember we're talking like over 4 or 5 months, what I recommend doing is draining that entire gas tank of fuel. You can do that by either pulling the hose off the back of the petcock, letting it drain into a tub, or if you have the tool or want to buy it, because we all like tools, buy a vacuum fluid exchanger and just suck up all that gas from inside the tank so that it's nice and dry. Leave that gas cap slightly ajar so that airflow can come in and out so we don't have a lot of water condensation build up on the inside. Step 3, if you're like me, you probably already have a battery tender lead hanging off your bike somewhere. Plug it in. If you don't have the lead on the battery and need to clamp one on, time to pull the battery and take it over to your bench, and then just clamp that battery tender on, set it, and forget it for the winter time. Now, if you are putting it away for that long period of time, I do not recommend leaving this on the trickle charger for 5, 6, 7 months. I like to alternate, take it off for weeks, maybe a month, put it back on for a few weeks, take it off. I know these trickle chargers are supposed to be smart and only trickle when they need to, but I just don't like the idea of that, right? So this way it still stays juiced up and you're nowhere near going to damage your battery. Now, before we get to that last and most important one, number 4, is to fill up our tires with air. I don't know why so many people forget to do this before winter time. In addition, I like to add a few pounds, maybe 4 psi, more than normal. That way, in the really cold winters, when those tires contract and the air shrinks a little bit, we know that we're still good staying above the ground. Now, if you are one of those people storing it for a long period of time, leave a few feet in front and behind of the bike when you park it. That way, every month or so, go out to the bike, roll it forward a foot, roll it back a foot a month later. Just alternate like that. That way you don't get any flat spots on the tires when you do pull it out of long-term storage. Now, if you've done everything up until now, then good work because you are doing a fantastic job of taking care of your vintage machine. But number 5, and arguably the most important thing, don't forget this when you're putting your bike away just for winter or for long term, is to cover it. Trust me, even if you park your bike in an immaculate garage where nobody ever turns a wrench, there is crud in that air that's just going to settle on your bike all over it. You are doing so much for all the finishes, whether it's aluminum or steel or the paint or the vinyl seat, if you just cover that motorcycle up, even indoors. So grab a cover. Heck, even the cheap ones on Amazon are better than nothing if you're just parking it inside anyway, out of the elements. Cover that bike up completely, nestle it in its place for the long winter's nap, and be rest assured that when you try to start it again, whether it's in a couple months or several months, it'll fire right up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you didn't already do so. We'll see you for the next one. Thanks.